This is the wrong bus, go away. Fine, come in!
Here I will try to prove that the pirate metal band from Perth, Scotland, founded in 2004, called Alestorm, is Illuminati, transgendered females, handlers, beta sex kittens, reptilian shapeshifters, overall pretends. Main characters: Christopher Alexander Sirhan Bose, Elliot Vernon, Bobo, and others ex and present day members. Pirate skull and bones is typical Masonic symbol, and you all have probably heard about the secret society from the Yale University by the same name. We all know that the pirates used it as well, and that, according to some legends, Captain Blackbeard was the very first, who chose it as his trademark, but there is something else to it, something that I already speculated in my other videos, and that is that it represents vampires. 'Cause vampires would be decapitated and their thigh bones would be crossed in exactly such manner in order to prevent them from ever leaving their graves, and, of course, decapitation was intended to kill them, but sure things sure, right? And there is, of course, also the mythical kraken on their flag from the Norse mythology, but if you remember Cthulhu from the H.P. Lovecraft's novel by the same name, was also a half-man half-octopus, and he was an alien from another planet, that was something of a devil figure here on Earth, promoting hedonism, supervising orgies, demanding human sacrifice, and so on. So he could be considered a metaphor for the race of reptilian shapeshifters. We see reptilian tongues sticking out of the mouth of the singer.
Piracy's a crime and crime doesn't pay, and we go home poor at the end of the day. But I'd rather live my life in rags than be chained to a desk with a wife that's a hag. We live each day like there's nothing to lose, but a man has needs and that need is booze. They say all the best things in life are free, so give all your beer and your rum to me.
So they drive on their boat by the window of some pious ladies, if that's what we should call them. Kind of reminiscent of that famous Peter Pan scene, doing their prayer just before the supper and end up in their living room, armed with swords and clubs. That is all supposedly because they have realized that the life of crime doesn't pay off, playing silly buggers, and that they only want free stuff in life, which are also, according to them, also the best things in life, so they are there to steal their beer and drum. Notice that the ladies are alone. Quite unusual for the time period the song is supposed to be happening in. Notice how the singer says that he doesn't want to be taped to a desk to a wife as a hag. But he is still in their house and he wants to drink their rum, while holding them under the threat of the gun. It makes one wonder if they are actually talking about rape here. Are these women just about to give them freely their pussies because they are under the mind control? Let's see. You are probably thinking at this point that they are a bunch of very ugly dudes, who want to molest this gorgeous women, but the thing is, they are probably all transgenders, actually more likely than not, And the guys you see here are actually female to males and the women are male to females. The supposed women are much taller with broad and horizontal shoulders, strong collarbones, long arms and necks, small heads in comparison to the rest of their body, square facial feature, straight up and down torsos, only they are wearing corsets so it gives an impression of waist, and they dwarf the supposed males in comparison with their stature. If you think about it, the supposed males are not that ugly, it is just that they are tiny, with small oval facial features, narrow shoulders, large heads in comparison to their bodies, high waist indentation points. Well, you are wondering where's my proof for that? Well, I suggest to look at my other videos dealing with the subject if you don't see it from the accompanying photos.
Or sailed o'er the seas for wenches and mead and told great tales of a hunt-master steed. The quest for a drop of that famous old spice has shown us the wrath of Leviathan's bite. We went back through time to get more rum, though we end up shipwrecked having no fun. But heavy metal pirates we must be, so give all your beer and your rum to me.
Well, here you can see that plying these women with liquor is a metaphor for them being forcefully taken by them, because after all meat is not that expensive and being the master of someone's mind is. It took all that generations, starting with Egyptians, to develop imperfect techniques of mind control, and, furthermore, one must find volunteers, who are willing to give their children without qualms into it. It would make sense, that they, as pirates, have came by looking for free sex slaves instead. The women are apparently under mind control, cause after they resisted for a while the pirates, being sort of terrified by them, they start all of a sudden to go along with it, apparently for no good reason at all. And what is alcohol at all doing in their house? If they would have it they would have drink it surely themselves during that supper. So, nothing here is about alcohol. Remember, that the pirates allegedly sailed all the seas looking for wenches, another word for young women, and mead, another word for alcohol, so if it doesn't make any sense for alcohol to be present in this very house, they barged into, then it's probably that they are there because of some wenches, right? Sailing seas, doing quests. They sound like some sort of Kabbalists traveling up and down the tree of knowledge.
We are here to drink your beer and steal your rum at the point of a gun. Your alcohol to us will fall, 'cause we are here to drink your beer. We are here to drink your beer and steal your rum at the point of a gun. Your alcohol to us will fall, 'cause we are here to drink your beer.
Notice how the woman that is getting undressed now, given that she got drunk involuntarily, has Libra sign, which a male horoscope sign, tattooed on her very large shoulder plate. And as about the women are starting to lose all their inhibitions, dancing half naked on the table, we can hear the lyrics, your alcohol to us will fall, in other words, they will become sex slaves for them. Their alcohol, which is also called spirit, which represents free will be broken.
We are here to drink your beer and steal your rum at the point of a gun. Your alcohol to us will fall, 'cause we are here to drink your beer. We are here to drink your beer and steal your rum at the point of a gun. Your alcohol to us will fall, 'cause we are here to drink your beer. Drink, drink.
This all confirms my theory that the elites are female to male transgenders that hold their male to female transgenders as subservient slaves to them. Maybe some revenge for some misdemeanors that their men committed against them on their home planet, who knows? Anyway, lot of reptilian shape shifting going on in this video. And one last confirmation for me that this video is definitely about mind control, although the singer said that he doesn't want to be tied to a woman as a hag, and although it is clear that the women couldn't have any alcohol by themselves to start with, he all of a sudden decides to become husband to some of them, and you can see him praying over the dinner table together with them, and the women behave like absolutely nothing happened, and it isn't at all strange to them that he is with them. Is that an allegory to the real-life state of affairs in our world, where the handlers and their sex kittens are running all over the place rampant, and the handlers are passing them off from one to another like some sort of goods? Is it why the pirate doesn't care that he is with a hag now, because he chooses which of her personalities will possess her mind at any given point? This is about a shipwrecked pirates, who got stuck on this deserted island, and, lo and behold, there are also some women, perhaps a reference to the mythical sirens, coming out from, what seems to be the direction of the sea, as that is where they have just got out from, running all enthusiastic towards the pirates. The pirate, on the other hand, seem very pleased to get stuck on the island, and then it hints you that these women might be the reason. I say women although there is lot of indication that they might have been transgendered, like exceptionally broad shoulders on all of them, and especially on the blonde that will be featured most prominently in this song.
3 years to the very day, since the pirate captain said to me, "Here lads, come show you through, adventure and glory waits for you." Yang took his words as gold, set sail for quests untold with a bottle of rum in my hand. I dreamed of wealth in foreign lands.
In the older folklore traditions, the sirens used to deliberately shipwreck the boats, leading the sailors on towards them with the seductive magical tune, that couldn't be resisted, until the boat would hit the hidden reef and all the sailors would fall into the sea, upon which the sirens would start to feast on their flesh. But later they became more of seductresses, whom the enchanted sailors would not be able to abandon, so strong was the power of the spell of their song, and that way they would starve themselves to death. But here we have sirens, that can't wait to start to have sex with their victims. Should this song then be considered then kind of discriminatory towards female sex? I don't know. It seems to me that they have been downgraded from dreadful monsters that are in full control of the mind their victims to ordinary sluts, who serve to make the most pervert male fantasies come true and even seem to love it. Notice how they also take the golden coins that the sailors accidentally drop, suggesting that way that they are whores, that do it for the money. So the blonde one is apparently so horny that she even wants to make it out with this midget. And she even sticks out her reptilian tongue at him in order for him to notice her.
You're bad, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwrecked you'll cease to be. You're bad, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwrecked your destiny.
And then the perversions continue. The tall broad-shouldered woman keeps on teasing the midget, and the other supposed women are starting to circle around him, suggesting that they are offering themselves to him in a sexual fashion as well. The blonde look like a Shrek with her teeth, lol. The lyrics go, "You're bon jaxed," which I found to be a very interesting word, given that it sounds as it appears to be consisting of the words pan and jack, which are both names for the Satan. Then, further on, you're screwed, the death is coming for you. Apparently, it's a blast to be shipwrecked men, or should I say shipwrecked female to males. Didn't someone get really lucky?
You're a 16th night at sea, in the depths of toil and misery. We stuck our head and reef. The ship began to sink beneath. I grabbed some drifting wood and held on as long as I could till I landed on a desert isle. Now stuck until the day I die.
The one of the women is taking the knife, suggesting that they have an agenda to actually eventually kill the sailors, but we won't see that happening till the end of the song. It doesn't explain, however, why are they trying to have sex indiscriminately with whomever, unlike the real woman do in real life, nor why are they hoarding gold coins. Remember, they were supposed to have the powers of enchantment. The pirates got shipwrecked on the 16th night on the sea, and the 16 is 4 times 4, which is actually a representation of the square, so it is basically another Masonic reference here. Notice how one of the sailors is disrespectfully wiping his mouths on the dress of the siren, but that is, I guess, only the sirens supposedly playing their game, leading the sailors on, in order for them to feel like they are in a comfort zone when with them. One might say that the women probably just came from their ship along with them, but actually women didn't like the pirates very much in real life, because they were famous for gang raping their female victim, the practice they used to call Jolly Roger, and they tended to stay away from their ships. And there were also other hardships related to the long journey overseas, that more fragile female physiognomy could hardly withstand.
You're back, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwrecked you'll cease to be. You're back, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwreck your destiny. Shipwreck.
One of the pirates is putting a gold coin on the hat of the midget, as if that someone is aware that the siren just might kill him, just in case he would be asked for to pay the ferryman Heron, who transports the souls of the deceased across the river Styx to the underworld, soon. Now the women are starting to encircle one by one the other sailors, because it's apparently their turn to get laid. In this part we see much more of the same. Lot of shape-shifting going on around here, as you can see on some pictures that I have supplied. The pirates are getting a little bit too comfortable with each other, suggesting that they are homosexuals as well. It could be that the alcohol has eventually started to do its bidding, because they were playing with it the whole time, but it makes one wonder when have they managed to save it from the sinking ship, when they have barely saved their own lives. We see a lot of Lucifer, or the light bearer, reference, which is basically a good name for Satan, the one he had, while he was still an angel, by the means of lot of fire being carried around in this part.
You're back, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwrecked you'll cease to be. You're back, Jack, you're screwed. That death is coming for you. Trapped on an island, lost at sea. Shipwreck your destiny.
And again much more of the same. Is this guy's blowing into a torch, and throwing that waveflame forward, a reference to a dragon? Funny enough, to blow a torch means something else, too, something indecent, about which I won't talk here. Island in the sea is itself reference to the Sephiroth on Kabbalistic tree of life, The palm trees we see around are a reference to the tree of knowledge itself. See, because of its name is a reference of a journey the shaman needs to endure on his way to the enlightenment, and then the pirates are, of course, psychonauts, or the shamans themselves. The reward that this enlightenment has to offer is of course the ability to be able to channel higher spirits that can impart higher knowledge, higher than the one the mere mortals could ever find out, and sometimes it's just straight up channeling of demonic spirits, especially among the Satanists, that are there only to grant wishes, no knowledge involved, or so they say. Just remember the Sinbad and other characters from the folktales that would always sail the seven seas, not that these guys here said that they've sailed the seven seas specifically, but nevertheless. The octopus has 8 tentacles but the one is a penis, so it's basically number 7 reference here again.
I stand before you to tell the truth most dire. There lurks a traitor in our midst who hath invoked the captain's ire. Don't deserve no mercy, we ought to shoot him with a gun. But I am not an evil man, so first let's have a little fun. We'll tie that scoundrel to a rope and throw him overboard. Drag him underneath the ship, a terrifying deadly trip.
Notice how in this earlier song you can hear how much effeminate Christopher's voice used to sound like. I guess it was before the male hormones kicked in completely. He is basically a captain here and he is urging for the understanding from his crew, on the regards of this pirate, that has cheated him with his woman, to get keelhauled as a punishment for his transgressions against him. Well, I guess when it's the god punishing the devil, then it's completely unjustified, but whenever something has happened to their dark lord, or to one of themselves, then it's a pure malice, and they can do whatever they want to that person. And to make things more laughable, his broad is this huge, for a woman at least, and definitely for a woman dating Christopher, interviewer for Stormbringer.at, who interviewed Christopher and from whose video excerpts you'll have the opportunity to see later on. She dwarfs him in comparison, it's ridiculous.
All that filthy land, I'ma send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of rum and a yo-ho-ho. Kill all that filthy land, I'ma send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of rum and a yo-ho-ho.
But, don't get me wrong, the other band members are not so much better than Chris himself. This fatty that is seducing his woman, is not big man at all, he just appears a little more corpulent than the others because he is fat. Look at how effeminate his face is. And he is supposedly showering this woman, which is big enough to carry him in her teeth, with money, like she couldn't earn some herself without his help. I mean, unless she is a sex kitten or something, but then that would only be the case just because she is under mind control. Could this song get any more wrong? So basically, because the captain here is not an evil man, he will keelhaul this transgressor instead of just shooting him, which would actually be the act of mercy here. Keelhaul is terrible way to execute someone that originated on British royal ships or on the Admiralty ships, not on a pirate ones, as a means of punishing the sailors, who offended in some way their captain, to whom he was a total master, or that had transgressed against one of the draconian rules that were in effect on the ship, and which were much more cruel than any land laws. On the other hand, on the pirate ships freedoms were much greater, and everybody was sort of regarded as akin to each other. The pirate captains didn't earn that much more than their sailors had, and because of these democracy that ruled on them, it was actually a desirable workplace for many marginalized groups of the society at the time.
I will not say what he has done, his sins are far too great to tell. It's not my place to judge a man, but for them he will burn in hell. Sharks will dine upon his flesh, and baby Joe's
Keel hauling is the practice of dragging someone through the water with the help of ropes under the keel of the ship, either across the width or from bow to astern, the second, of course, being the far more severe punishment, reserved for greater transgressors, 'cause there is a lot more water to drag one through. Anyway, they would drag a person with such a speed that it would last just a little bit shorter than one could hold his breath, so that one could be tortured longer, given that it would be needed to drag him through the water more than once, until he would swallow enough water to get drowned, and in the process the rough keel of the ship would scratch and rip at someone's patches of skin and that would cause incredible pains as well.
Keelhaul that filthy landlubber, send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of rum and a yo-ho-ho. Keelhaul that filthy landlubber, send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of rum and a yo-ho-ho.
Now how could anybody, unless he is an aristocracy, or somebody who is not in the danger of suffering under the same kind of punishment, be so much pleased to inflict such pain onto someone else? You can clearly see in this part how badly damaged the skin of the guy, that was keel-hauled, is, and how he is still alive after the first pull. The captain says that they should give him a bottle of rum as he walks on a plank. That's because it's a consolation prize, something that he is supposed to take to an afterlife with him, for the reason that he is going to be dead soon enough thanks to them. Why are they promoting vengefulness and unforgetfulness? Even better question, should maybe be, why were they promoting forgiveness at first, by promoting the Christianity, just so that they would change their attitudes towards it, or at least change them that we see, later on completely? Well, I think that the agenda is for the times to change. They, the elites, have gotten their directives from somebody and they are pushing it really hard.
Tie that scoundrel to a rope and throw him overboard. Drag him underneath the ship, a terrifying deadly trip. Keelhaul that filthy landlubber, send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of rum and a yo-ho-ho. Keelhaul that filthy landlubber, send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk.
Also, at one point in the song goes, take his money and his hat, he won't need them where he's gonna go. This, besides the lyrics, which mention the bottle of rum, are a definite sign that they are definitely going to continue torturing him, by the method of keel hauling, until they eventually kill him.
The snow fell hard on a frozen sea as the night swarmed all around. With no moon to guide a passage north, this corpse of mine may never be found.
This is a remake of Lady Gaga and Beyoncé's song Telephone. Lots of transgender agenda being pushed here, starting with singer and his band down to the police officers in jail that are dancing. You can't really say who's a man, who's a woman, who's a transgender and who's a transvestite. The singer wipes the shit from his hands on the wall, like sexually molested children tend to do as a silent cry, to express their despair and powerlessness. The name of the song is very interesting, 'cause as you are about to see, the song is about this released prisoner trying to get to Magnetic North, with his friends aka the band members. Well, the North Pole, that we usually think about when we say North Pole, is actually the true North Pole. But there is also this magnetic North Pole, that is somewhat displaced in relationship to the true one, 500 kilometers to be more precise, and it is situated somewhere in the northern eastern Canada, and that is actually the place the compass needles points toward. This magnetic anomaly exists because of the nearby metallic deposits in Earth's crust. And these guys are going towards it? Who would do that and why?
Days and to this death man's quest, in search of riches in a time of treasure chest. Through oceans never seen, through fog as thick as night, to the northern wasteland, onwards we must fight. Far beyond the ice and snow, the voyage carries on.
Well, I'll tell you why are they doing it? North Pole is actually of negative polarity, or the female pole, and the South Pole is of positive, that is, of male, polarity, so the magnetic currents flow from the south to the north. But remember, they are moving towards the magnetic north and not towards the true north. Did you already notice something fishy here? Yes, exactly, it's a magnetic north because they are from the magnetic south, or the fake south, because they are not the real men, and they are moving towards the magnetic north, because they are looking for their male to female friends, who could be easily represented by the magnetic or fake north, or the fake female sex. What can I say, the birds of the feather flock together.
For blood and gold, we sold our souls, redemption lies at magnetic north.
For blood and gold we sold our souls, redemption lies at magnetic north. Well, here they admit what they have done, it's just that they foolishly believe that sexual molestation of male to females is somehow going to make things right. Could we say that the fall to societal obscurity, and serving as degraded object of sexual desires of male to females, could be considered by anyone else, other than females to males themselves, as the means of them redeeming either to the god or to the humankind? What do the others get out of that? Notice how the singer throws shit in the face of the prisoner, who seems to be expecting him to help him out break free from his cell or something. And then when he is at the gate of the prison he bows down to the cops and sends them kisses as if they were his best friends and there.
Beyond the snow to magnetic north, beyond the quest for magnetic north, we will die at magnetic north. Soldering, condemned to die, empty promise against in ice. One by one, our time has come. Cast away space for the sun.
And here in this scene we have prominently featured this other band member, Elliot Vernon, who is very good candidate to be the most effeminate female to male out there. Hormones didn't do a very good job in his case, I would say. You can clearly hear while he is screaming how much of a girl he actually is. Sold a lie, condemned to die, empty promise encased in ice, one by one, our time has come, death awaits before the sun. Now this is not quite clear to me. I would say that is probably an admission that the devil is a liar, but here I also see that this particular narrative, that human race is just one step ahead of some massive extinction and some new evolutionary step, being slightly insinuated. Elliot looks like as if possessed by some demon spirit, that uses him to speak through him and eventually throws a V sign.
Fell hard on a frozen sea as the sun rose to the sky. Trapped forever in the sea of ice, this is the place where we will die.
and then they hit a man with their car and Elliot apparently suggests to Christopher that they should finish him off. Then they end up in this saloon where all the celebrities are dancing, and they start to play there. I can clearly see Ariana Grande, Beyoncé and Jay-Z. If you recognize anybody else, feel free to comment. Notice the narrow hips on Beyoncé impersonator.
The voyage carries on. For blood and gold, we sold our souls. Redemption lies at magnetic north. Far beyond the ice and snow, the voyage carries on. For blood and gold, we sold our souls. Redemption lies at magnetic north.
And now Elliot is making a cocktail, just like Lady Gaga has done it in her video, but it's apparently to poison this mainstream crowd, that is dancing, not like this band isn't entirely mainstream themselves. I have never figured out what was exactly the point of Lady Gaga poisoning the people she has poisoned in her video, but here the reason is probably that they are poisoning the musicians they don't particularly like, or which they pretend, for some reason, not to like. But why did then Beyoncé and Lady Gaga allow them to remake their video? And here we have the midget again. If you haven't known that before, let me tell you that midgets were usually part of the ship crew because there wasn't any women around and they were easy targets for rape. The other band members start mixing the cocktail here as well. It apparently consists of white rum, dark rum, notice the black and white symbology here, dog poo and cyanide. And then they give that to all the celebrities to drink, including the midget.
We will die at magnetic north. Set the course for magnetic north. Beyond the snow to magnetic north. Beyond the quest for magnetic north. We will die at magnetic north.
At the end, everybody that has drank the cocktail has ended up poisoned just like in the original video, but the band gets killed as well as they plunge off the cliff into the abyss. Could be a metaphor for ending up in hell, deliberately or not, I couldn't say, because it wasn't shown.
When we got started as a band, lyrically we were like stuck in that we are a pirate band, so all our songs must be about things pirates do, like digging for treasure and plundering booty and all these very straight-faced pirate stuff. But then we sort of realised, you know what, people don't care, people just want to have fun, and we want to make fun music, so we've started incorporating more stupid, I don't want to say stupid themes, but you know, sillier sides of things, like say songs like Mexico, which is about going to Mexico and fucking a donkey.
Well, we went to the far north, so now we can go a little bit to the south as well. We're winding up like that serpent up and down the tree of life, I guess. As above so below symbology right here. You can now see Elliot's face up close here and you can see how girly he actually is. Kind of reminds a little bit on Kathy O'Brien, doesn't he? On the other hand, Christopher doesn't look completely Scottish. I wonder if he has some Turkish or Ashkenazi Jewish blood. Could she be the descendant of Turkish sultans, or something? Anyway, Christopher is stealing a donkey from unsuspecting Mexican peasant, and just because we heard it personally from the mouth of the singer in one interview, we know what he will be used for.
When the quest is over and the battle's won, there's a land far to the south where we go to have some fun. The wenches, they are plenty, the alcohol is free, the party lasts all through the night and the alcohol is free. Whoa, tonight we drink together. Whoa, tomorrow we may die. Yo-ho, Mexico, far to the south where the cactus grows.
Lot of phallic symbols here: cactus, the donkey, music instruments. Thanks to Elliot, who doesn't play this antiquated video game called Mexico or well, Christopher falls off a donkey onto a cactus. I wonder what it might mean. For the record, they are off to Mexico because wenches are plenty and alcohol is free, if you would believe it. I find that word wenches kinda sounds like witches, don't you? Notice how Christopher's sombrero in the video games looks like an UFO as it flies around.
Tequila and a donkey show. Mexico, Mexico, yo-ho, Mexico. Far to the south where the cactus grow. Take me away from the ice and the snow. Let's go to Mexico.
Now he mentions the donkey show, and there are all those black market porn movies that feature donkeys with women, and they are underground cinematography with a reason. It's an animal abuse, if nothing more. Could this hot males to females be taking in the donkey cock? Are they donkey being used to brutalize some others, too, some weaklings like Christopher? How high on a food chain do you think he is anyway? Did you see how terrible would Elliot look like if he were to grow even longer mustaches? Somebody please tell him.
Virus life is simple. We drink and steal and kill. Always we are questing in search of bigger thrills. We've sailed across the oceans, got drunk in many bars, but when we sail to Mexico, that's where we party hard. Whoa, tonight we drink together. Whoa, tomorrow we may die.
We can see women washing the donkey like a car and the drummer playing the game now, in which there is a woman washing a donkey as well, but apparently doesn't do it fast enough and her knickers fall down to her ankles. The foam reminds of the cum. Is this here not a dead giveaway, that what the singer has said, as if joking, in that interview, is actually true? Could they occasionally go to the Mexico to watch a live donkey show, with the mind control slaves, possibly male to females, being raped by the donkeys? I mean, if it's not about mind control, why do they need to go to Mexico specifically? They could go to any other place that has donkeys. Is it some mind control handlers exchange program? The drummer looks disappointed for being a flaunt in the game, but is he really? Does that mean that Elliot wasn't really disappointed when Christopher fell on the cactus either?
Oh, Mexico, far to the south where the cactus grows. Tequila and a donkey show. Mexico, Mexico, yo-ho, Mexico, far to the south where the cactus grows. Take me away from the ice and the snow. Let's go to Mexico. Hey! Hey! Hey!
We have Christopher looking at the women washing the donkey from an interesting angle. Notice how the woman, if you would like it that way, in the red swimming suit, stands in the wash pot herself. Does she represents the Scarlet Woman? Her hips seem wide, but they seem to be placed kinda low on the body, as if they are some sort of implants. I can't seem to catch her standing still, so I would measure her shoulders to hip ratio. The other girl has very broad rib gauge, despite not having too manly face, but her waist looks like as begotten by rib removal, because hips aren't that much wider than the shoulders. The girls are watering the cactus, which is growing. The cactus is chasing the brown-haired girl in the game now, And there she has much bigger buttocks than in the real video, as you can notice. Besides, that she seems to be avoiding tires, that are made of rubber, as she runs. She just might get AIDS.
Mexico, Mexico, go home, Mexico, far to the south where the cactus grow, take me away from the...
Now we have some homosexual action going on here. We can see band members feeding each other, with sausages and salami. Isn't that cute? Elliot even comes on the Christopher's face. Oh, and the cactus pricks the girl wearing blue on the ass. I guess we know what it represents now for sure. After the mention of tequila and the donkey show, the singer gives us a thumbs up, so I guess there is no doubt he approves it. The only question is, does he approves the one in which he is starring himself as the main actor, as well? I mean, if we don't count Donkey, that is? Or do they lump him into these movies, when in altered state of consciousness, with the other sex kittens, so he doesn't get to choose? What do all these beautiful women, although they are male to females, which are better looking among their kind, or I believe, doing with this loser looking dudes, that are probably also homos? These guys have one of the best looking women in their videos out there, and look at them.
Take me away from the ice and the snow. Free margaritas and a taco. Let's go to Mexico.
Notice that the guys in blue sombreros in the video game, are looking as if they are jerking off with their right hands. Not to mention that the instruments generally, especially the guitars, represents some kind of hybrid between female and male sex organ, and very often while being played, it looks like as if band members are either jerking off themselves, or as if they are stroking a female organ. And we see band, in the middle of the crowd, in the game, looking like as if they are jerking off, as well. 3 margaritas and a taco. Is he ordering 3 girls and a boy? Mexico is famous sex tourism destination. I think that with this one video they tried to push just about all the boundaries that are out there. Elliot screaming like a broad again. It's interesting how Chris is wearing a skirt, allegedly because he is Scottish, or is it because there is certain agenda out there now for men to start wearing skirts? This music video was, by the way, filmed in my home country, Serbia. Elliot has Empire Strikes Back on his shirt. Chris, I got lost in a gay dolphin, speaking about that guy having an agenda, right?
Firing the cannons and raising the flag. This is the piratical wave. Under the sign of the storm of ale. Soon with your lives you will pay. Oh, we'll all say our eyes into the barrel and drink what we find. Rum, beer, quest and meat. These are the things that a pirate needs.
Just for a quick second there you could have seen the ink symbol flashing on a guitar, which one of the midgets is playing at the moment, but whom the real guitarist will soon be playing, or should I say the lady in black, with a pear-shaped body build, walking on the left side of the screen. Lyrics about darkness that will be descending soon, What else would they be singing about? The club called The Barrel they are singing about in this song is actually the Club Fest, where they play rock music in Belgrade, Serbia, my hometown.
Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run down the side of a storm or veil. Run, beer, quests and meat. These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run down the side of a storm or veil.
They go there to get drunk, after they see that the Alestorm is preforming, and when they enter, the midgets are preforming instead of them, and they go berserk. Notice the graffiti of a woman holding a guitar, used in this particular case, as a phallus symbol, on the left side from the entrance, and then you remember that most of the male performers out there are actually chicks with dicks. Funny, isn't it? Lots of monocornado, or horned god sign, being flashed in the audience, and then there is this communist and fascist symbol as well, fist raised up in the air. Notice the checkered design on the wall.
The fun is motion, it gives me quite the notion to vomit over your face. Here, so cold as ice, exists it will survive, drinking through night and through day. Quest, this is the meaning of life, a voyage into the unknown.
Elliot can't handle his rum apparently, it makes him wanna puke all over Chris's face. And then he starts singing about beer, beer is for pussies Elliot. As you will see later on in some interviews, Chris is not that much into the alcohol himself, so it makes one wonder why are they promoting it to the others, if it's not an agenda? Look at the broad with a square transformer-like face in the audience. It appears that she likes the midgets, too, like one another male to female that we saw in the previous song I have analyzed. Aren't there some fetish sex videos featuring women and midgets out there very frequently, too?
Your tank of defeat is all that I need to enter the partying zone. Oh, we're out of control. Escape from your brain to the depths of your soul. Rum, beer, quests and meat. These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run to the side of the storm of it.
Escape from your brain to the depths of your soul. They are straight on the point with that one. I wonder what the electric guitarist has written on his t-shirt. Is it acting human bomb, or something? The keyboards in the video look like as if they had blood spilled on them.
Rum, beer, quests and meat. These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run to the side of a storm or hail.
They are trying to chase away the midgets that are playing on stage instead of them, by flashing the horns in front of them, speaking of it being the mind control trigger, right? And then when they don't succeed they climb on stage and start to beat the midgets, like that's a hard thing to do. I found Elliot looks a little bit like an alien like here, pale, thin, with his uptight posture, with spaced out look in his eyes, he kind of reminds of that Man in Black figure. Men in Black, according to these urban myth, used to go to visit the people that had fourth kind encounters, that is, an actual physical encounter with aliens, and flash with a phallic-shaped device in front of their eyes to make them forget all about it. You all know the movie Men in Black with Will Smith, right? Well, according to some stories they were actual aliens and not Earthlings that worked for a secretist government agency. Why else do they need second keyboardists in the band? I watched one interview with Chris and Elliot and I could swear Elliot was following me with his eyes around. Anyway, nice touch with the red hair.
These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run down the side of the storm of hell. Rum, beer, quests and meat. These are the things that a pirate needs. Raise the flag and let's set sail. Run down the side of the storm of hell.
I think I know why they have chosen Christopher to be in the limelight. That's because he has pretty rectangular face. If it were for this alone, many would easily be duped into believing that he is a man. But it all depends in what kind of light is he being recorded. It's mostly in dim light. He mostly had black paint smudged on his face that is supposed to represent dirt, because he is supposedly pirate and all, but when you look at his interviews one starts to notice. He physique in general and his body frame is so petite and he is so gentle and girly, it's unbelievable. I don't know how tall is he actually supposed to be. He's about the same height as the other guys in the band, but they could be short, too. Only big things on him are his ears, which he is usually hiding behind his hair. The drummer is pretty much the most masculine out of the bunch, the previous one even more so, and he actually got me fooled for a while there, given that he has somewhat broader shoulders than the others, but as you could have seen in some photographs, he is definitely very suspicious as well. Well, I didn't have much to say about this song, mostly because the lyrics aren't really something, and neither is the video, so I used it to point out some other
Tavern, not far from here, where you can get some mighty fine beer. The company's true, and the wenches are pretty. It's the greatest damn place in the whole of the city. If you're looking for crewmates, you'll sure find them there. Cutthroats and lowlifes and worse I should dare. Oh, Nancy don't care who comes to her inn.
Aha, what do we got here? The Tavern Witch? Or is it the Scarlet Woman? Cutthroats and lowlives and worse I should dare, old Nancy don't care who comes to her inn. This means, that she would even do it with cutthroats and lowlives. And, according to Chris, they are the true company. Isn't he a real hipster? Wenches are pretty. I didn't realize that the wenches used to gather around such places. Maybe they are talking about prostitutes. It's the greatest damn place in whole of the city. So, it's a damn place, probably because some human sacrifices are going on there, and given that the owner is a witch, that isn't actually that far out.
It's a den of debauchery, violence and sin, so come take a drink, and drown your sorrows, and all of our fears will be gone till tomorrow. We'll have no regrets, and live for the day, in Nancy's Harbor Cafe. So come take a drink, and drown your sorrows, and all of our fears will be gone till tomorrow.
It's a den of debauchery, violence and sin. What did I say just a while ago? So come drink and drown your sorrows. So that's why they drink, because they are disappointed and not because they are satisfied with what they have achieved. We'll have no regrets and live for the day. So what such people do is that they disassociate from their problems and live fake lives.
You're looking to go on a glorious quest. There's a man there who knows of an old treasure chest for some pieces of
If you're looking to go on a glorious quest, there is a man there who knows of an old treasure chest. So the glorious quests are all about looking for the money then? I thought Hercules and the others went on them to prove themselves to the gods. Who are you kidding? If you don't do the quest then no Shambhala for you. For some pieces of 8, and Tancred of Ale, he'll show you the map and tell you its tale. Come on, he's leading you on. And then there's Nancy, the lovely bar maiden. She may be old, but her beauty ain't fading. I guess they have some inclination here towards older women, just like Sonisphere of the cult.
Years ago, while lost in barren seas, there whispered murmurs of a bloody mutiny. We took up arms and slayed the officers of rank, and with swords drawn made the captain walk the plank. But as he fell down to the depths, he swore a deadly curse. As sure as hell's my final fate, you'll all soon die or worse.
I guess Captain Morgan is God in this song. So they threw him of the plank into the sea, and for that he has cursed them. Lol, I thought it was the other way round. Notice that what the curse has incurred upon them is worse than dying. I wonder if he is talking about vampirism.
Now as we stand before the gallows waiting for the end, I'll say these final words, my friend. At sunrise we will dance a hempen jig, so raise up your pint of rum and take another swig. The curse of Captain Morgan has led us to this fate, so have no fear and don't look back, the afterlife awaits.
Although they are standing before the gallows, although at the sunrise they will be dancing the hempen jig, they are very pleased cause the afterlife awaits. What did I say a while ago? All the cultures of the world have stories about the undead that became some sort of vampiric creatures, either feasting on human blood, either sucking the life essences from the victims at night. They usually live in caves or somewhere else, where they cannot be seen, and go out only at night.
We returned to port with sorrow in our chests. An evil shadow followed us on every quest. Never to feel joy again was our fate. Only misery and death, fear and burning hate. We broke the law, betrayed the code, now time is running out. An unforgivable offense, of that there is no doubt.
So, I guess God is the evil shadow now. Are they not trying to change the narrative? And now he says that his fate was never to feel joy again, which is a little bit contradictory to what he previously stated. Either you feel joy or you don't, either you've scored or you haven't. They broke law, betrayed the code. Oh, at least he admits that, well, he's no better than God himself, we know from the song Keelhauled. An unforgivable offense of which there is no doubt. So why did you do it then?
Years have passed now, yet the curse still lives on. And now we rot in a black prison cell, waiting for our true calling in hell. But for the lives we leave behind, don't shed a tear, don't cry. The only way to break this curse is for us all to die.
Many years have passed now, yet the curse still lives on. GZ, I thought everybody die only once, or does he mean that they have passed their curse on to their offspring? Now they rot in black prison cell, looking for their true calling in hell. Oh, so now the place where they are placed involuntarily by the curse is where they wanted to be all along? Are they not some passive aggressives? But they admit that they are going to hell. What did I say about Shambhala before? But for the life we left behind, don't shed a tear, don't cry, the only way to break the curse is for all of us to die. Once again they are switching the narrative, now for them to die and become undead is no longer a curse, but a way to break the curse. Very interesting. It's interesting how he says that the way to break the curse is for all of us to die. He doesn't say that it has to be only them themselves that are cursed.
The song is, I like playing Magnetic North. That's it's kind of a party dance song. I like dance songs. We stole that song from Lady Gaga, but no one noticed, so it's okay.
I noticed.
You're a connoisseur of excellent pop music then.
No, I'm not. But
I guess we should call Lady Gaga to notify her about the theft, LOL. This woman interviewing him is the woman that is featured in the video Keelhauled, if you haven't noticed. Look at how much longer her arm is than his, look at the prominent brow ridge and slanted forehead, and now look at him. Why doesn't he have these features as a man? Are we to believe that above average masculine women and above average effeminate men just happen to hang around each other all the time on the music scene? Notice the girly moves Chris make. Why is he constantly waving those hands? If he were not to do that, nobody would notice how short they are. It is as if he is doing it deliberately. And what is the whole deal with the ice cream? Did he need to put something in his mouth immediately? Notice how the color of the ice cream is similar to the color of the skin.
A video where it's just us at like a children's TV show, and then getting drunk, and I just love all this stupid crazy shit.
so you don't listen to evil music?
I'm scared of evil music. I like happy songs about bunny rabbits and sunshine and rainbows.
Do they make some custom-made guitars for these guys, or do they play children's guitars? But, seriously. Look how he is flashing 3 6s. With every minute listening to this guy, I am getting less and less convinced that he is consuming any alcohol on a regular basis, do you? Notice how they are gaslighting us with the whole story of evil metal music here. He likes happy songs about bunny rabbits, sunshine and rainbows. He's enumerating here all the stuff that are the most frequently used as triggers to place unsuspecting mind control victims into a trance.
And did ever a true metalhead come over to your band and said you're not doing the real metal?
It happens all the time. I think it's great. We just like laugh at them. You're like, whatever. It's funny.
Other metalheads come to this band and accuse them they are not doing the real metal. Why don't they look at their own business? There's plenty of fish to choose from in the sea. Lot of judges of taste out there.
Usually, we get drunk, and then when you're drunk, you always get the best ideas because they're always the most simple, catchy ideas. Because if it sounds good when you're drunk, it must be really good. Because all the best songs do. So yeah, basically drink a lot and then write things down. And then you end up with this really catchy song, and then it just happens. It's like magic.
One gets the best ideas when drunk. So why do the shaman use ayahuasca there? Why are there people tripping on acid in order to get in touch with their guardian spirits? Why bother, when one can buy such cheap stuff as alcohol and get an inspiration? I am even less convinced now that they are drunkards. This whole story seems a little bit unconvincing. And notice what he says at the end, it just happens, it's magic.
Like on a tour bus or something, do you get along always very well? And are you in that funny mood? Almost.
It's always very silly, yes. We always drink a lot, and we end up naked, and unspeakable things happen. Unspeakable.
It's very sexual.
It's the wrong kind of sexual. It's just, it's awful. It's disgusting. It's the kind of thing you regret the next morning.
Oh, some sexual perversion are going on their bus when they get drunk, something unspeakable, something they regret the next morning. But then again they are getting along just fine and they are always in a funny mood, as well. Sounds very contradictory. Let us hear what it is that they are actually doing.
Do you want to give an example for that?
No. There's always a lot of nudity. Inappropriate nudity. And you wake up thinking, oh God, who did I show my willy to? And it's just dreadful. Everything we do is dreadful, and I wish we didn't, but these things happen.
They always drink very much on the bus, they get naked and then they show their willies to each other. Was that it? That thing they regret the next morning? And once again no penetration and no real case for a lawsuit, so I don't buy it. No, Chris, it's not that wrong, it's just an indecent exposure, you should get away with a strike. I wonder if the part with receiving the inspiration comes before or after they start to undress and make love to each other?
Super.
So what we're going to do is, we're going to wear eye patches.
2 eye patches.
2 eye patches each.
You do know I have to play another show in 1 hour.
I don't care.
If I'm fucking wasted, it's your fault.
Okay, let's start then.
Eye patches on?
Eye patches on. Okay.
You there? Are you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first.
We were all wondering until now if the singer is a heavy drunkard for real. And then there is this interview. Instead of him trying to get other people drunk, it's the other way around as you can see. The interviewer is trying to get him drunk although he is supposed to perform in an hour. Some drunkard, huh?
Let's see.
Oh, that's thick and.
What?
A bit more.
The fuck?
Oh, that's gonna taste like
a rat's ass.
tastes like paint stripper or something. I hate you! I hate you! I hate all of you! I hate peer pressure! Fuck you!
Here, he is drinking a drink that tastes like rat's ass because the audience is forcing him to, because of the peer pressure, LOL. Will this guy do just about anything because of the peer pressure? I mean, how do we even know that they are drinking what they say they are drinking and not some ordinary juice? Notice that Monster Energy drink in a prominent position on the table, so we could all see the number of the beast that's on it, in the shape of tree Hebrew letter Vavs, which carry the numerical value of 6. Do you understand now which club they belong to?
Hardly ever say that, but you don't have to swallow.
For you, baby, I'll do anything.
Okay, let's do this. That was disgusting.
It's smelling it. And what?
Jesus fucking Christ, that tasted like.
Oh, fucking cum.
Oh.
It's like drinking a dog's cum.
Are you sure?
Not that I've ever drank a dog's.
And the dominant female to male, is, of course, exerting her dominance, so she tries to make the other one feel subjugated like true master, by nothing else, than by playing nice, allowing the other one not to swallow his cum, if he doesn't really want to fool him to feel a little bit as if in control himself, and the other, the slimy one, that acts emotions, accepts, of course, straight after that the sacrifice he must make on the altar of their common love and does it, although he doesn't actually like it. And there he goes, he drinks something that tastes like dog's cum, and that is hilariously funny to both of them. And then he starts to explain himself, how come he knows how the dog cum tastes like, isn't that pathetic?
Wohl sein! Oh.
Oh, yums!
I would love that if I was an elderly lady.
I love elderly ladies. What is it?
What was it? It was... Oh, Klopfer.
Waldmeister. This is good. Hey, any elderly ladies in the audience, you will love Klopfer, I don't know.
Oh, and here again we hear that he loves elderly ladies. That's probably why he leaves the younger ladies to the midgets. He's such a funny guy. And, furthermore, he loves this drink that elderly ladies would probably like. Isn't that interesting? But wait, it's called Klopfer, which means knocker or beater in German. Maybe he loves to beat them, maybe he likes to do 50 Shades of Grey on them. It's also that thing used for killing mosquitoes and flies. Speaking about Beelzebub, the Lord of Flies here.
Yeah, but this is the rum, isn't it?
I don't know.
Cheers. Oh no, I hate rum.
Of course you do. Yeah.
No, seriously, I fucking hate rum.
What?
Oh,
You're supposed to be pirate, for fuck's sake. Sorry. Sorry for yelling. Down with rum.
here.
He says that he hates rum and interviewer doesn't believe him, because pirates are supposed to be mad for rum. But funniest of all, he seems quite believable when he says that, and looks as he is just about to start crying because he has to drink it. Look how he is trying to calm the angry interviewer like some woman. And then Chris pours his rum into his glass, and the audience laughs at their own stupidity for believing him that he loves alcohol.
There's a cool thing over here. We have a thing, if you can see down here, the piss missile, which is if we're ever driving past people, you can see it there, right there. If you ever see people we don't like, we can just fire that and it just shoots piss out the bus at the car next to us, which is kind of fun. Which is a good thing. Let's go inside.
So we re in their bus. Beware, these gangsters are totally wasted, LOL. Just like James Bond has the real missile in his cars, which is also a submarine, by the way. Instead they have a piss missile they use to throw the piss on the people they drive by, that they do not particularly like.
Sometimes we have cake, we fuck when we're bored, we have sex with this cake. It's
Usually,
we get a new cake baked every day.
there's a hole right here. You can see that's like the entrance to where you have intercourse with the cake, right there.
They all fuck the same cake, LOL. And on cake it says something like yum, you're big, in the ass. So, who knows, maybe they are not lying. And they probably eat it afterwards.
Drumheads are very talented percussionist Colin over here.
Colin.
What's your name today, Colin? He draws these drumheads up. Look at that beautiful art. Look at this ridiculous one. Look at this. It's not. When are you finishing it? This is our This is the creation featuring our guitar player Bobo and Banana Duck.
Notice these drumheads, Colin. You know the female to male, that's most masculine in the band, made, for some duckling that appears to be offering his ass for a fuck, that has an eye patch, and then their guitar player Bobo pregnant, representing Adam from the Michelangelo's painting The Creation of Adam, that is to be found in the Sistine Chapel, in Rome, to whom the half banana half duck, representing the god, is reaching his hand to. Michelangelo was rumored to be secret Gnostic, and in that particular image you can find as above so below symbology. Remember, that Bobo is supposed to be a man and supposedly can't get pregnant. But it makes you wonder who'd be the ones that deliver the babies in the elite circles, they're females to males or they're males to females? Are their male to females hips at all wide enough for them to make a successful delivery?
Yeah, it's... I live here. I've got the best shoes. Look at this. Neon leopard print, only the finest for a pirate. And it's spacious. Like I say, every bunk smells of cum and men and sweat. Actually, there's one woman on this bus. Isn't that exciting? An actual human woman. That's she probably smells of cum and sweat as well, though. So
Notice the neon leopard print on his blanket. He has apparently beta sex kitten programming. Every bunk smells of cum, men and sweat. Why doesn't it smell of women, makes one wonder. Is he trying to allude with that he is homosexual? It could easily be the case, because people, that don't want to believe that elites are transgendering themselves, would readily accept such a suggestion in order to explain away some feminine traits that he has. But then all of a sudden, weasel that he is, he changes the narrative and it turns out that they have one actual human woman on the bus and that she also smells of cum and sweat. Makes you wonder, why do they need the cake then for? Makes you also wonder if they have women that are not human on the bus, doesn't it?
This is where we sleep. These are all our beautiful bunks. Can you see in here? Yeah, it's a bit dark. You can't smell, there just smells of cum in here. Here we are. This is Bobo. Hello, Bobo! This is our naked guitar player, Bobo. He likes whiskey. Come down here and say hello. That's enough of him.
Bobo is supposedly drunk, must be his post-birth depression. He likes whiskey, but apparently he drinks wine.
You see, the weird thing you got in the Warped Tour is they have water in a Monster Energy can. I mean, to me that just sounds really wasteful, but that's what they do. I guess it's to make kids think that you're drinking Monster Energy all day long, which makes it look really cool. Yo. Taurine. But that's in the fridge. It's not very interesting, to be honest. There is an apple! Pete, you said there wasn't an apple in here. There's a lying cunt. Oh, well, he's a lying cunt. There's apple.
Guess what? They don't actually drink Monster Energy drinks, but those cans with whom the fridge is loaded with are all but filled with water. And they do not worship the devil, they just pretend they do. Never mind him exclaiming Taurine all of a sudden, it's just one of the ingredients of the non-existent energy drink, not at all the sign of Taurus, during the age of which people used to make human sacrifices to Moloch, to whom goat just happens to have a very similar head. And don't forget that there was that legend of a half-man half-bull, called Minotaur. Never mind him finding an apple, the forbidden fruit, in the fridge.
This is our Maltesers endorsement, which is it's new to America, but it's the finest chocolate in the world. And we actually get paid about $10,000 a year by Maltesers just to eat these on stage and look conspicuously cool and throw them at Fed. Oh, yum 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 yum. That's yes, our chocolate endorsement. We don't get free guitars or anything. We get free chocolate, but it works.
What a sold outs! They eat Maltesers just because they are paid to do so. Could they fake sexual orgasms as well? They actually have hybrid between Popeye the Sailor and Brutus in the bus. What are the odds?
I like going around the world and seeing places. It's my favourite thing to do. Yeah. Actually, this is my second favourite thing to do. My favourite thing to do is put on an eye patch.
My second favourite thing to do is take off my eye patch, but I usually put it back on shortly after that.
Fantastic. Yeah, you can't beat a good eye patch, but
The only thing better than putting on an eye patch is taking it straight off again. That's really tip-top.
Are they talking about their knickers? Oh, look at the interviewer. Is that a sloping back forehead and prominent brow ridge? Voice sounds a little bit suspicious, too.
I could break a leg for you, that you know.
I think I broke my hand. Look, see that finger? That's really fat. Look at that. That's not normal, that one. It's kind of a bit obese.
It's maybe a tiny bit swollen.
I've got obese finger syndrome.
Maybe you're exaggerating just a touch.
I can attest to this.
I dread to think what you may have been doing with said finger in order for it to be swollen, but I don't think it's the kind of thing that could necessarily be repeated on camera.
We can't
fell over on the way home.
Into lots of babes.
Let me ask you something. How did the journalist know that they've done something they can't necessarily repeat on the camera in order for Chris to break his finger? And how come that she doesn't even blink when they are answering on any of her questions the way that they are answering them? Would you consider those to be the normal answers? How is it that she doesn't get at least a little bit sexually aroused by what they are saying? 'Cause whom would they be hitting on except for her, right? She's the one next to them, right there.
Be thanking you for that advice right now.
That's gonna change their piratical lives.
I think it is. I think it is. You've started a revolution right here. So thanks.
Hear this?
That's
the sound of an eye patch. I mean a peg leg. I mean a hook. When a pirate word's mixed up there.
Yeah, a little bit. Like it was the most terrible demonstration I think I've seen on camera.
Did you see what are they doing now? One isomoboism. The little scoundrel Elliot is placing hand both on his own eye and later on to the Chris's eye. And then the both of them start showing 666 disguised in various way, one supposedly being, showing for no apparent reason at all the sign of an eye patch. Sign for a silence and horns in a very quick flash right after that.
Ahoy! Ahoy! This is Elliot and Mate from Alestorm, and in a few weeks' time, we're going to be touring the UK and Ireland with Sabaton on a big co-headline tour.
We're playing some huge shows and massive venues, and both bands are going to be playing full sets, and we're going to have lots of fun.
What to really say about this? Analyzing Illuminati symbology, I have really seen a lot of stuff, but this really beats it all. And, of course, Elliot and Bobo are involved in it.
Storm, thank you for coming on our bus. It's a very interesting place. We play songs, listen to them, they're good. You can get them at google.com/music.alestorm. Get off our fucking bus!